Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tiravanacharya Yamuna Tiravanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayadiraye nashta praeshu apadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtikir. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam and we read from Canto 4, chapter 27. Text 22. Mai samhrapya vipula. Mai samrapya vipula. Madachchapam sudu Shaham. Madachchapam sudu saham. Statum arhasinai katra. Statum arhasinai katra. Mat yakshna vimuko muni. Mat yakshna vimuko muni. Mai samrapya vipula. Madachchapam sudu shaham. Statum arhasinai katra. Madhyachna vimuko mune.
Maisavya vipula. Madachchapam sudu saham. Statum arhasinai katra. Mai samrapya vipula. Madachchapam adusaham. Statum arhasinai katra. Madhyachna vimuko mune.
Vaishnavis.
Mai samrapya vipula. Madachchapam sudusham. Statum arhasinai katra. Madhyachna vimuko mune.
Mai unto me. Samrabhya, having become angry. Vipula, unlimited. Madat, out of illusion. Shapam, curse. Sudushaham, unbearable. Statum arhasi, you may remain. No, never. Ekatra, in one place. mat my yajna request vimukha having refused Mune O great sage. Okay, 4:27-22. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The great sage Narada continued, "When I refused to accept her request, she became very angry at me and cursed me severely. Because I refused her request, she said that I would not be able to stay in one place for a long time." So this is now, we are reading from the 4th canto. This is the 27th chapter, and it describes the story of Puranjana, the allegory which is given by Narada Muni to King Prachini Bharat. And we have heard how Puranjana, who represents the living entity, enjoys in his place. This is the body which has 9 gates, and but now the time is up, and the city in which Puranjana lives, the body, is attacked by Chandavega, the king of the Gandharvas, and the city is destroyed. Basically, it means that time, old age, and death approaching, right? And then that's the end of a life. And we have heard about how the Gandharvas represents the days, the Gandharvis represents the nights, and how the city is being attacked. Now, Narada Muni goes a bit more into more specifics and tells the story of Kala Kanya, which is the daughter of Chandavega, and Kala Kanya is the daughter of time. And who is the daughter of time? She represents Chara, which means old age. Because there is time, and as a result of time, time passes, and then there is old age. So, and she is Chara. She's also known as Dur Bhaga, which means ill fate, because nobody likes her. So, and she's a lady, she also wants to have a husband, she also wants to get married, but nobody likes her, because no one likes old age. So she approaches different men, but nobody wants her. So then Narada Muni, who tells the story, makes the point, well, she also approached me, I'm the one who's telling the story, but I also have a personal relationship. And that's also interesting, because Narada Muni, he's always involved in some way or other, right? Any story you tell, at some point Narada Muni shows up. So he's always involved. So here also he had an interaction with this Kala Kanya. I mean, he doesn't have interaction, but he refused her. She was very eager to accept him. He was a Naishtika Brahmachari. He was very pure and innocent, and still looking very young. Usually we understand that those wear saffron, that means they want to live a renounced life, and then ladies take a little distance. But from experience you can see some ladies, they feel, saffron means he's still available. It's obvious, he doesn't have anyone, that's why he's saffron. And also, if we are honest, every man likes a woman, and if they're a brahmachari, they just try to be it, but at the end of the day they anyway will get married, so why not try it? That's usually sometimes the mentality of some ladies. That's why at some point some brahmachari takes sannyas, then it's clear. Although I heard from young sannyasis that once you take sannyas, the test even really starts, and even there is no stop. Anyhow, but here Narada Muni was approached by Kala Kanya, and he refused her. So it says here, "And when I refused to accept her request, she became very angry at me and cursed me severely. Because I refused her request, she said that I would not be able to stay in one place for a long time." So that's the, if you refuse a woman and she's very determined, maybe she becomes angry and curses you. That happened in this case here. And Narada Muni was cursed that he could not stay at one place. That he's by that curse, he's forced to constantly move, to constantly go to next place. He can't settle anywhere. Okay, let's read Prabhupada's translation, purport. Prabhupada explains how Narada Muni took it in a very positive way. The great sage Narada Muni has a spiritual body. Therefore, old age, disease, birth and death do not affect him. Narada is the most kind devotee of the Supreme Lord, and his only business is to travel all over the universe and preach God consciousness. In other words, his business is to make everyone a Vaishnava. Under the circumstances, there is ordinarily no need for him to stay in one place for more than the time he requires to preach. Since by his own free will he is already traveling all over the universe, the curse of Kala Kanya is described as fortunate. Like Narada Muni, many other devotees of the Lord are engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord in different places and in different universes. Such personalities are beyond the jurisdiction of material law. End of purport. So, in some way, the curse didn't really affect Narada, because he was anyway always traveling. Like, he anyway was always, just moving here and there. So it was not much a curse for him. Or in other words, he, took it in a very positive way. Okay, let's see what we can say about this text and topic. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnanchana Shalakaya Chakshuyam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namo Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyatyadi Shatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Great sage Narada continued, when I refused to accept her request, she became very angry at me and cursed me severely. Because I refused her request, she said that I would not be able to stay in one place for a long time. So now Prabhupada makes the point here that Narada is one of these personalities that travel throughout the universe with the only goal to preach Krishna consciousness, to make everyone a Vaishnava. It's a very lofty goal, make everyone a Vaishnava, as many conditioned souls. But that's the mood of the devotees. Because they themselves have, experiencing so much spiritual bliss and spiritual satisfaction in their heart in their relationship with Krishna, naturally they want to share with others. Sometimes people, they questioning, why are you preaching? I remember once I had a group of university students, very intelligent young people, coming visiting the temple, and then one lady said, the other day we visited the Buddhist center, and the Buddhist monk told us they don't preach. They just offer their spirituality, and whoever is interested will naturally come and visit their center. No need to harass people on the streets, and do any missionary work. That's not what we do. And it's interesting, mainstream, like the people in general, they appreciate this, because in the name of religion, unfortunately, so many religious movements have created a lot of havoc or created a lot of disturbance by their aggressive way of preaching, up to the point of killing people and the crusades. It's like crazy what's going. If you study history, it's quite heavy what happens in the name of converting people to a certain belief. So in some way it's natural that people feel a bit uncomfortable with the religious missionary work. So and this lady, she very much appreciated the Buddhist monk. But then she said, but I understand you guys, you do preach. Then why you do this? She challenged me, like, why are you doing this? And then I tried to explain. I said, okay, there is a story where there is a, and you know the story most probably. There's a sadhu with his disciple walking along a little pond, and in the pond there is they observe there is a scorpion, seated on a leaf that is floating in the water, and the scorpion is drowning. So the sadhu feels compassion and takes his hands and tries to lift the scorpion out of the water to put him back on the land, the earth. But the scorpion, starts to stinge the sadhu, and the sadhu leaves the scorpion alone, and the scorpion again falls on the leaf, and it becomes very painful. But the sadhu then again takes his hand and then again tries to lift out the scorpion out of the water, and the scorpion again stitches him. And that happened several times. And the student asking the teacher, Master, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't you see? You're getting hurt by the scorpion. And the master says that the sadhu says, what can I do? The scorpion, it's his nature to stinge someone if he's approached. It's just the nature of the scorpion. But my nature as a sadhu is to help and everyone who is in pain. So I'm just doing my nature. That's my duty. Even up to the point that people, hurt me. But I have to do my duty. So that's the mood of a sadhu. That's the mood of a saintly person. Even though people don't understand his endeavors, even though people, Prabhupada gives the example, Jesus was crucified. He just, spread the glory of the Lord. He preached God consciousness, and he was killed for that. Haridas Thakur was beaten in over 22 marketplaces. So this is sadhus. They have to tolerate a lot of difficulties. Anyhow, I told that story, and that student, she immediately. I thought it's a good story. They should get the point, but she didn't. she said immediately. So, what do you mean? So that means you comparing us as a drowning scorpion? Like you're comparing us that? So you guys think that we need help, right? So we are the one who are drowning, and we need your help. This is what you're saying? And I said, well, that's the message of every religious tradition, and I just put it in a very general level. That's the message of every spiritual tradition. That there is a place. The place we are living is not a good place. There is suffering. There is another place beyond of this world where we actually belong, and that's the message of every religion. I'm really sorry, but that's what all religions believe. And that's a fact, and of course, therefore, there is always this tension between the atheist and religious people, because the atheists, they just feel that God it's just an imagination by those people who are weak, those people who are, they don't get along with life so well, and then they have to find some support system, and then they imagine that there must be some higher force they can pray to or something, but it's not required, And so traveling all over the universe preaching God consciousness is not such an easy task, and it's a thankless job because many people won't appreciate it. But sadhus, they nevertheless do it. They travel all around, and they try to share. And I like to talk this is from an arrival address, actually originally spoken by His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj and then repeated by His Grace Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu in Bali, where I happened to be there. An arrival address, usually when sadhus arrive, and they are welcomed, traditionally with feet bathing, which in some places we still do, but generally we do it in a more modest, simple way by having a nice kirtan and flower garlands. But then sadhus are respected. So why sadhus are respected? Because sadhus, they give Atma Kalyana. What is Kalyana? Kalyana means auspiciousness, auspiciousness, welfare. To whom they give? To Atma. They give it to Atma. So, because we are all jivas, we are all living entities, and our duty is to serve Krishna, to serve the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. But jivas do not understand, so our service go in a different direction. Usually, the conditioned soul, they serve many other people, but they don't serve Krishna. Our love is going to our family, our nation. Our love is going, and our servitude goes to many other different areas, but we are not rendering service to Bhagavan Krishna. He is Sevya Bhagavan, and we are all his sevaks. So he's the object of love, which is meant to be served. That's Krishna Bhagavan, Sevya Bhagavan, and we are actually meant to serve him. Some may admit, some not, but we are all Nityadas. We are all meant to eternally serve Krishna. Can we maybe open the window a little bit? Get some fresh air. Jivarasvarabhaya Krishna Nityadas. It's the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna. So in every life we have a father, a mother, we have wife, husband, children, but they are not actually not really able to give us true happiness. No, we think that why do we get a wife? Why do we get a husband? Why do we have a family? Because we think that will give us the ultimate pleasure and happiness. And of course, some happiness will be there. I'm not denying, but it's not fulfilling the need of the soul. We are always searching for happiness in this world, life after life. We even take an insect body to come here, but still we don't get happiness. To become happy in this material world is not possible. Only one way to become happy, and that is serving Krishna. To get happiness from our family is not possible. They are our own men by name only, but by the activities they rob us. And then Bhagavatam is quoted, 5th canto. That of course, we don't find happiness. So the real well-wisher will always think how to give pleasure to the soul. Atma Mangala, how to satisfy the soul. So, and who is that person who can give true happiness to us, or true welfare? That's sadhu, that's guru, the self-realized soul, who knows about the soul, Atma Tattva. And Krishna himself says in Gita that he is the Suridam Sarvabhutanam, he is the well-wishing friend of every living entity. So similarly, the self-realized souls, they are also our well-wisher. They are sadhus. They come to give welfare, Atma Kalyana. That's like the true welfare for the soul. How the soul will rest on a proper place, that place on the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. If Jiva rests on the lotus feet of Krishna, that Jiva will be fearless. No anxiety, no lamentation, not even fear of death. So that's the greatest contribution that someone can give, that we find shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Because we find shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, then we become free from any anxiety. So the person who guides us through this lotus feet of Krishna, the person who connects us with Krishna, he is called Acharya, and we should follow his footsteps. That's the idea. Because he, by his own example, he teaches, and that's why we should follow him. And this type of acharya is very dear to Krishna. Acharya mam vigyayam navamam yet karichit nam martya bhutyasya ta sarvadeva maya guru. It says in the Krishna actually says to Uddhava that one should know that the acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him to be an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. So one should understand that such a pure devotee is very dear to Krishna. He represents the Lord, and he Sarva Deva Maya Guru. You know, all the devas are in his body. They're all with him. And I've told the story many times with Jaipataka Maharaj. Someone remembers? No? That's the advantage of Kali Yuga. People usually don't remember. As a speaker, you can tell all the same story again and again. I remember so many years back, Jaipataka Maharaj was still very vibrant. I mean, he's still very vital and vibrant, but it was before his stroke. He many times came to Switzerland, Germany. Of course, that Jaipataka Maharaj himself, he is such a personality. We're talking, traveling around the universe. I heard that he got the Guinness Book of Records for having flights in 1 year. I mean, that's incredible. There's so many business people who travel every day. There's people that are traveling all the time. But Maharaj, topped them even. Like, it's crazy. That and Maharaj has been traveling so much, like no one else. It's like incredible, and I do remember, sometimes when I served as a temple president, phone was ringing and servant. Jaipataka Maharaj will be arriving at the airport. Can we have a little program at the temple this afternoon? It's like, yes. And then Maharaj just comes in, we have a program, and Maharaj makes a slideshow, like, this is just a little report of my preaching from last week. So we were here in Hawaii, and then next time we were in Siberia, and then in Honolulu, and then in Prague, and then in New York and Denver, and like amazing, like traveling from one place to the next, just trying to encourage devotees, trying to inspire devotees, try to give them Krishna Bhakti. So yeah, Maharaj was in Freiburg in Germany, and we had a Harinam. Huge Harinam, many devotees, and Maharaj with big wampers, leading kirtan. And at some point, Maharaj stopped, and then he gave the wampers to his servants, and someone else was supposed to start to lead the kirtan. And Maharaj went into a public bathroom. And then a person from the street walked towards our group, and he kind of proclaimed, "Ha! You see, he's also just an ordinary man. He still goes to pass water." Pass. Like such an envious, foolish person, because he could understand. This is a guru. This is one of these Indian, cult person who thinks that he's something special. Everyone obeys. Everyone follows at his feet, and but actually he's just an ordinary person. So and he had even the stupidity to walk to us and tell us that he's just an ordinary person. Saying something to Jaipataka, Maharaj didn't hear, of course. Maharaj, he spoke in German. Maharaj already left, but it's kind of, it's an example of the envy of a materialistic person who can't understand that these people are very saintly and their contribution is amazing. And as Krishna says to Uddhava, one should never disrespect them in any way. One should not envy them. One should not think that they are ordinary people, because Sarva Maya Deva, all the devas are actually residing in their bodies. If a personality like His Holiness Jaipataka Maharaj enters a room, all the devas come with him. It's not an ordinary. One should never for a moment think that these people are ordinary persons. So we should follow this type of sadhu. They don't have any other desire, and that's the amazing thing. They don't have any other desire. The only desire is Krishna, and how to please Krishna and how to deliver Krishna to others. That's their desire. That's their whole meditation is, how can I give Krishna to others? Because they have attained Krishna, they're very happy with having their relationship with Krishna established. Now they just want to give Krishna to everyone else. So this is the welfare for the soul, and with this desire they are traveling all over the world. There is a nice shloka in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Mahanta svabhava darite pangsara nicha karya nahi tabu yana tarakana. It is the general practice of all saintly people to deliver the fallen. Therefore they go to people's house, although they have no personal business there. This is a description of the sannyasis, the sadhus. They travel from one house to the next. They knock, and usually they ask for some alms. But it's actually not that they're asking for alms because they're hungry. I mean, they might be hungry, but that's not their main reason why they come there. But actually they want to give a chance to the householder or to the people in general to have their association and to get enlightened by them. And they pretend to ask for alms, but actually they're just going there to give the mercy. Prabhupada explains, a sannyasi is supposed to beg from door to door. He does not beg simply because he is hungry. His real purpose is to enlighten the occupant of every house by preaching Krishna consciousness. So such Mahanta Guru wants always to do welfare for the soul. The jivas are suffering from so many material desires, and this Mahanta Guru wants to give relief. This Acharya Guru, they have some power, they have some Shakti, and he has received it from his own Guru. So the Guru comes in a parampara, and why is the Guru empowered? Because he has received it from his own spiritual master. You know, we can see it. We are very blessed to have such a sadhu visiting us today. You know, so Keshav Maharaj is soon arriving, and he's an example of an sannyasi. I mean, he's a young sannyasi, but a very dynamic and enthusiastic preacher with a strong desire to help people. And we can also see that he got some Shakti. It's obvious. So where did he got the Shakti from? His spiritual master, His Holiness Kadamba Maharaj. And where did Kadamba Maharaj get his power from? His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj. And where did Jayadvaita Maharaj get his power from? Srila Prabhupada. Where did Prabhupada get his power from? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So that's the parampara. And it's beautiful to see how the parampara works. And then we have this, I have to say, foolish people, stupid people who proclaim this Ritvik system, saying that after Prabhupada, parampara ends. How can you say something like that? And you have such living examples of parampara, of devotees who are getting empowered by their spiritual master, and you know, giving an example of being living sadhus, representing Prabhupada and the parampara in a most powerful and beautiful way. How can you say the parampara should stop with Prabhupada? And it's actually a great offense to think that, yes, Prabhupada is a pure devotee, but he was not able to make one single proper disciple. That's basically what they say. They say Prabhupada was not able to make one good shishya. Because, you know, Prabhupada preached to all the Westerners, but they all fall down and they didn't really make it. So that's why now Prabhupada established, he knew that he could see it, and that's why he established himself as the only Diksha Guru. It's such an offense. Because if Prabhupada is an empowered Acharya, why should he not, you know, give his potency to some of his disciples and they just carry on the legacy? And Prabhupada did. You know, there's so many Prabhupada disciples who, till today, acting as a spiritual master and sharing Krishna consciousness in a very powerful way. How can you deny that? Yes, many had difficulties and fall down, but I mean, look at the Bhagavatam, it's full of yogis who have difficulties. It's part of the material world. Jai Jagannath Baladev Sudarmana Ki Shishi Govinda Ki Jai. So such sadhus, the Mahanta Gurus who preach Krishna consciousness, they receive their own power by their Guru. And Guru, Shri Guru, is a representative of Balaram. So the person who has received Shakti, mercy, from his Guru, he can bring about a revolution in society. He can change the world by the power of Balaram. as much we listen from such a guru, a Bhagavad Katha, the soul, or our soul, will be awakened to the original consciousness. Therefore, our only true, intimate well-wisher is Krishna and such a sadhu. Because by listening to sadhus, our true nature is awakened. So we must listen to them, do whatever they say, and only then we will get a happy life. We have to follow in their footsteps. Somehow we came to this material world. Still, by the mercy of sadhu, guru, we can get a chance to serve Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. So they are always looking for Atma Kalyana, doing well for the soul. And that's why we worship them, because they are so compassionate, because they are so merciful. That's why we worship these saintly people. Whenever a sadhu is coming to our place, we would receive him, welcome him, with intention to do this understanding that he has come to do some welfare for the soul, this Atma Kalyana, and therefore we give respect to sadhus. So it's a reciprocation, like the sadhus, they come to help us, and we are grateful for that help, and that's why we respect them. So Narada Muni, such a personality, and of course all the sadhus, as we mentioned in our line, they are also coming to give Atma Kalyana, and we can be very fortunate or grateful because we get a lot of sadhus next couple of weeks. His Holiness Krishna Premarupa will also come this week, and His Holiness Sachinanda Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj is also coming. So a lot of sadhu sangha. So of course, as we said, we should follow in the footsteps of such sadhus, as they are very enthusiastic to preach Krishna consciousness. We also should be very enthusiastic to preach Krishna consciousness, just like our Guru Seva Mataji. If you take example of her, I mean, she's amazing. No, every day going out, distributing books, prasadam, and preaching to people, sharing Krishna consciousness. Very amazing example of being very enlivened by the practice and especially by the aspect of sharing Krishna consciousness with others. Because there is a special mercy, and of course this class you should give actually. We should invite you again to give class. But there is a special mercy in the preaching activities, no? Because as soon we preach, as soon we share Krishna consciousness, then we are part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission. Of course, we are all part of Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission. Also, Puchari, who is throwing flower at us, he's also part of the Sankirtan mission, because if we invite people, they come to the temple, they like to see the beautiful decorated altar. So we are all part of the Mahaprabhu's transcendental army. But especially those who are on a front line, those who actually meet with the people and get in touch with the conditioned souls and try to give them Krishna consciousness. There is a special magic, there is a special mercy in doing these activities. And it's interesting, of course, sometimes we may doubt, well, I'm not so qualified. If people ask me questions, what should I say? But that was Prabhupada's special empowerment. He was very expert in empowering devotees, in a sense that Prabhupada especially encouraged everyone to preach, in the understanding that by preaching it will be good for us and it will be good for others. And that was the instruction that Prabhupada received himself from his guru. Bhaktisiddhanta told him, if you do this preaching work, it will be good for you and it will be good for others. And Prabhupada took that very much to heart, and very much also made it his motto when he passed on the legacy to his disciples, that yes, you also should preach, and everyone should preach. And if we feel that, what can I say, what can I do, then we can pass on Prabhupada's books. And Prabhupada said, what will your preaching do? If you try to explain people, what will preaching do? But if people open a book and just read one page, just read a few words in Prabhupada's books, then Prabhupada will preach through his books, and that preaching of Prabhupada is extremely effective. And we can see till today. I mean, how did you came to Krishna, or how many of you came in touch with Krishna consciousness by receiving a book by Srila Prabhupada? Book? Not more? Lecture. Okay. Of course, now we are in the digital age. Everyone, well, I saw a YouTube video. Yeah, time's changing, but still, many devotees, they join the movement by receiving Prabhupada's books. The books are still very potent and very powerful. And also, from a understanding from the philosophical or theological point of view, how is bhakti received? How is bhakti given and received? It's received by devotees. A devotee that possesses bhakti in his heart, he gets in touch with the conditioned soul and touches his heart, and in this way bhakti is given. That's the way how bhakti is shared by one devotee to the next person, and therefore it's so important that we reach out to people, that we be there and share Krishna consciousness in different ways. So we can take great inspiration from Narada Muni here, who his business is to make everyone a Vaishnava. So we have the same mission to help people raise their consciousness and bring them closer to Krishna. Hare Krishna, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or question to this topic of Atma Kalyana, the true welfare of the soul is to help people, and of course this appreciation for sadhus. Yes.
Thank you for
Hare Krishna. Okay.
I have a simple question.
Yes. Mic is not working. The battery is not. Yeah. I can repeat the question. Yeah.
I have a simple question.
Yes.
I am curious and confused at the same time right now.
Okay.
On one side, we should spread Krishna consciousness, but on the other side, one of the 10 offenses is to not preach to atheists. So what to do? Personally, I show by my own example and give a lot of prasadam, but what should I do? I spend a lot of time with people that are really materialistic oriented, but they say, I don't believe anything, I don't want to speak about that, and I just offer some food and give to them every day.
Yeah.
But what should I do?
Okay, so the question is, in one sentence it says the 9th offense against the chanting of the holy name is to reveal preach to those who do not have faith in the holy name. On the other side it says we should preach, so that seems to be a contradiction, right? And you said that some people, they really don't like to hear about God, so you just give them prasadam. Yes, so there is different ways to approach this topic. I mean, one regarding this 9th offense against the holy name. I mean, I heard one explanation is that this is really meant for the preachers. Preachers means the gurus, those who actually give the holy name to their students, and their job is to make sure they only give the holy name to someone who has faith. So if before a guru gives diksha to anyone, harinam, he should make sure that the disciple has full faith in him as a guru, and full faith in the holy name as a process. And only then he should give diksha. And that's why usually Haribhakti Vilas says there should be 1 year testing period. So if the guru is just giving the holy name to anyone without considering that the people have faith, then that's an offense. So that's meant there. So if we go out and chant the holy name, and if someone is like, oh, what are you doing? Are we singing the names of God? The names of God is not different from the Lord, and you should also try it. And that's not an offense. Of course, the holy name, how the holy name is not different from the Lord, is a very deep tattva. And if someone is not able to understand that, an atheist, then of course you may not unnecessarily just push too much deep philosophy to a newcomer. Then that also can be an offense, because the person cannot not appreciate it, and then maybe the person commits an offense towards you or to the philosophy. So that's why also one should be careful. As in the Bible it says one should not throw pearls in front of the pigs, because they can't appreciate. So that's one thing. And then regarding preaching in general, of course, we should try to share. And you mentioned, I mean, I also quote this often. I read it in a book where it's described that Saint Francisco's made a point: you should preach the gospel whenever you can, and if it's really necessary, you can also use words. Making the point, we should preach mainly by our example, just by the kind of people we are. People will become very curious. I don't know, there is something about you, your aura. If something is about you that you're a little special, we're working here in the office, many people, but what you're doing in your private life? And then, I'm a devotee of Krishna, and you can start to tell. Just people will become attracted by the devotees because they just can see they have such good qualities. That's the best preaching we can do. And of course, according to time, place and circumstance, an expert preacher will understand where and to whom can I say how much. And of course, then we also have the preaching activities where we actually stand on the street and tell people, please take a book. And that's the more direct preaching. But then also there we can discriminate. If people really don't want to, okay. Does it help?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In 1995, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj was here in Zurich.
Haribol. You were here also?
No, but I heard the class.
Aha, okay.
And he was giving a very nice class regarding Queen Kunti's teaching.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the class, there was one in the audience who asked about enviousness.
Uh-huh.
And it was funny that you were mentioning about this karmi who was, or in general. But then this person asked about enviousness towards devotees.
Uh-huh.
So I wonder if you could just speak a few words about how it can hamper our spiritual life if we are envious towards devotees.
Oh, if we ourselves are envious towards devotees.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that opens a big another topic which could fill a whole lecture. Envious and envy. It's Matsarya. We speak about these 6 ripus, these 6 enemies of the soul: Kama, Lobha, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. This lust and greed, anger, illusion, pride, and envy. So these are 6 enemies. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami described it also in the Manashiksha, how on the path of bhakti, when we walked, and 6 dacoits will attack us and will bind us up with ropes. And very fearful dacoits that will create havoc. And then how to overcome them? We should call out for the great generals of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan army. We should call out to the devotees. And by the help of the devotees we can overcome all these 6 enemies. So the solution is, again, the sadhus, taking shelter of the sadhus. By their mercy we can overcome. But yeah, envy, especially envy, it's this, because Narottam Das Thakur in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika describes different ways how to engage these enemies in devotional service. Like, okay, you have lust. If you're lusty, what do? You engage in service. Because lust means passion, and passion means activity. So you do a lot of activity. And you should tell a story of my friend who was a brahmachari that time. He went to Bali doing cooking classes, and surprise, surprise, he had 20 young ladies at his cooking class. And after the cooking class, he felt so lusty. He started to clean the kitchen like mad. And it helped him. Afterwards he felt relieved, like, okay. So, engaging the passion in practical service can be very helpful. So then is other things, and what else is there? Greed. No one should not be greedy. So we should become very greedy to listen Krishna Katha. Or anger. How to engage anger if someone is blaspheming the devotees, like in this example where this karmi, offended Jaipataka Maharaj, then the devotees, if they become angry and say, then it's justified. If someone offends a Vaishnava or Krishna, then the devotee can become angry and protect the devotees. So this way we can engage these qualities. But envy cannot be engaged with such a thing. Envy is a very... I think Yudhishthira Maharaj was asked, and he said, envy is like there's some pain in the heart that you feel that, the other person has something that I don't have, and because he has it, I don't get it. And the problem with envy usually is that envy leads towards harming others. That's why it's such a bad thing. Because we are envy, we will try to pull down the other person, and that makes it such a bad thing. So to overcome envy, we should try to purify our heart and become very simple, serve the Vaishnavas, and then, by the help of the sadhus we can overcome it.
I just want to add something.
Yeah, sure.
Because I remember he said something about that if, let's say that a devotee is envious of another devotee, then one thing that you could do is to go and serve this devotee.
Yes, that's exactly the antidote. It's actually...
And then he said also something about that if we help other devotees to progress in their spiritual life, then that will also help himself or herself to come closer to Krishna, because ultimately we want to be that Krishna will notices us.
Yes.
So he also, Guru Maharaj also mentioned that even Srimati Radharani, she wants to serve her rival in the spiritual world, because then that will please Krishna.
Beautiful.
Something like that.
Beautiful point. So, beautiful. Yeah, and for the ego that's the most difficult, because the person you envy, like, I remember there was a devotee, and we did a lot of service together, preaching together, and he was much more charismatic than I. I'm more like an introverted person, a little more shy person, and he was a very outgoing person. And everyone's like, wow. And when he gave classes, everyone like, oh, such a class. When I gave classes, it was also nice. So naturally, I developed some. Naturally, I had some envy in my heart. He's stealing the show. Everyone is. I had some. I noticed that I had some envy, and I understood this is not. It's not good. It's first of all, he's my friend, and why should I be envy? And so then I also got that advice. I should serve, and I consciously served that Vaishnava, and I could see it worked. By being in that mood of service, I felt a different. Just also accepting the reality. Yes, this person somehow got more mercy by Krishna, this person is more empowered, the person is more advanced, and I'm actually fortunate to have his association, and it's nice to, by his mercy I may also develop the same qualities at some point, and I can serve him. So that humble mood then made the heart much lighter and peaceful. Yeah.
I would like to add something. What Prabhupada said. What Prabhupada said and what His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Swami said about envy. Prabhupada said is that envy is converted appreciation of something that person has.
Yeah.
Perverted, yes.
Perverted.
Yeah. And what His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Swami said is that we indirectly saying to that person, I don't want you to serve Krishna so nicely. And
Yeah,
when
that's
I
the
read
difference
this-
to the.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want you to serve Krishna so nicely. That shows how bad it is, you know, and it shows how self-centered it is. You know, it's about me. It's only about me. But a Krishna conscious approach would be, and that's what in the spiritual world going on. They're like, wow, look at her, how she's serving the divine couple so nicely. You know, Radharani and Krishna must be so pleased with her. I also like to serve like her. You know, that's the spiritual competition that takes place. There is a competition, but the competition, Krishna is still in the center. It's not about me. I also like to. I want to increase my service. I want to serve even better than her. So also the competition is I want to serve better, but not because of me, but because of pleasing Krishna even more. And in the material world, yes, you said, you know, like, oh, I don't want you to serve Krishna so nicely because, you know, then I'm not in the center. But that's completely has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Thank you. Very nice.
One comment.
Okay, last and then we close.
So, yeah, I actually asked Jayapataka Swami Maharaj in Mayapur when I just started with Krishna consciousness, and I had the fortune to be connected with him, what to do, how to get rid of the desire for distinction, name, fame, and glory. And he said that we should glorify Krishna, glorify Guru, and glorify the devotees.
Vaishnavas, yeah.
On your point that envy is actually it's perverted appreciation was so good because you see good qualities, but you handle it wrongly. And I have also noticed in my own life, this I didn't hear from a sadhu, but from my own experience, when I'm not properly situated in my varna, then envy and the desire for distinction and name fame comes much stronger. It becomes very mental because you're not in your, when you are in your what you like to do, then you're more peaceful and it's not so important the position. But if you are outside of it, the position and this recognition becomes so important. So I think also we can situate ourselves in services that we really like, and it doesn't matter so much if somebody's a little bit better.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I also I read a statement recently, quote, that it's not about becoming a great personality, but it's about serving the greatest personality, Shri Krishna. So, in that sense, maybe we can end today. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
His Grace Krishna Premarupa
Okay, yeah. Du weißt es als gerne, du weißt.
Ja, nicht special. Wenn es online oder Resultat.
She is the I don't know if she's inspired, but she's very inspired. Yeah. I think she's from Chile, but she's Swedish also. Yeah, I get to know them here. That's what
Thank you.